G'day everyone. So I working on a four-wheel drive RV I have. I'm going to change this, take this water pump off. I don't know if we're going to change it today. We're going to at least take it off. So first things you want to do is you need to drain the oil from the sump and the water from the radiator, which you've got the drain plug there, so it's quite easy to find. If you look under the van, first drain those out. I don't need to because I know I've got no water in here, but a general procedure would be you want to drain the water first and the oil, and then you want to take the oil filter off. And I like to use the drift oil filter because it's got that hexagon bolt fitting on at the back of it, and it's also a magnet. Other than that, there's not much difference between a normal filter and that filter. I just like the fact that it's got a magnet at the end and it's easy to take off, rather than needing to get myself a tool to remove the oil filter. I can just use a shifter or a spanner. And yeah, then I'll get into, after I get the filter off and everything else, the oil drained, I'll get into taking that water filter off, water pump off. And it looks pretty simple. I've got another clip already that someone else posted to me, which it's very well, to me, I just watched it and I think it's got enough info for anybody else to watch that and do this, but I'm making another one anyway that I'm doing. So there's 3 hoses on that water pump that need to come off. And one's already off. Then you got that other heater hose there, and there's another, I think that's for the intake to warm up. And we'll get those 3 hoses off, and then it looks like a 12mm that takes the rest of the pump off. So I'll get into that, and if I run into any dramas, I'll continue recording, and yeah, I'll show you what I run into. Okay, Bob's your uncle. Give this area a good clean up. Get the water pump out of there. I'll give you a bit of a look. And I'll adjust this screen so I can see it. Okay, so that's what we're looking at there. This guy here for the oil filter is housing for the oil filter. Also needs to come off. Also 3 short 12mm bolts. And I'm going to get in there and clean all that up. But this is the problem here that I had. The seal was allowing water to go from the pump straight into the sump, and that was yeah, that's not good. It was pumping the water into the motor quicker than it was flowing back into the radiator. And this was diagnosed as a blown head, but it was not a blown head. It was a busted water pump. So don't let mechanics just straight away, oh, there's water in the oil, it's a blown head. Because with the Previa, it could be a bad water pump. Alright, so I'm going to pack all my stuff away now, but basically where we're at now, I'll take this camera out and I'll show you the other water pump. So looking over the old pump and the new pump, now you can either, this is the old one. Now what's happened is, it's come out of its seating. You can see the, so it's the water is pouring out through the center of this. If I push that onto the bearing properly, you can hear it quietens up. So what's happening is this is grinding against the pump as well. And the one I'm replacing it with, it's not new, but it's a good one. And you can see how the clearance is already there, and you hear no sound at all. It's a good pump. There's no movement in that at all. So we'll get this one into her soon. First I'm going to clean everything up, and then I'll put it in. Oh, I should have shown you this before I did this, but it's too late now. I cleaned both surfaces. Well, you can see that I've cleaned the whole thing really good, but make sure that the surfaces are nice and clean and there's no leftover gasket or something. Because alloy, tight's tight. You don't want to go over tight, but you don't want to go too loose either. So you got to know your tension by your hand. If not, then probably use a torque. I'm not going to use a torque because I'm pretty confident with the tension with my hands. Okay, so that's ready to go back in. I might just put a bit of gasket glue around here as well. In areas where you can't get too easy, better to be overkill than not enough. I was looking inside this section here, where the water pump connects to. That's all stuffed up. I'll have to do for now, but yeah, that needs to be changed at some point. That's been chipped, so I didn't see any chunks come out in the sump. I don't know where they would have gone. I'll have to investigate that a bit more. But yeah, that doesn't look good. I'll have to find out what that part there is called and order up a new one, I think. Anyway, for now, I need to get this back on the road so I can drive it, so it'll just have to be the way it is. Alright, I got the gaskets on in place. The gasket go everywhere. And now I'll put it back together. If anybody else has ever done this, doesn't look right. Doesn't sit in as far as I'd like it to. Well, this is where it goes. So it doesn't look right though. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. I'll bring the camera from the other angle and show you what I'm talking about. It doesn't look right, the way the water pump sits. Okay, I got him. Well, there's something that's good to know. Don't tighten up all the bolts until you've don't tension any bolts until you've got them all in finger tight. Sorry I can't get this in a better position for you. Anyway, That's in now. So intention to all up now. Not the hardest job to do, just being under the van is a little bit tight around the top part there. But remember, tight's tight, you're screwing into alloy. If you don't know how to judge by your hands, then use a torque wrench. Sorry you didn't see a lot of that. It's hard to try and mount the camera somewhere you can see it, but it's all back in. I'll zoom out maybe. Oh, look at that. Much better. I know I've got a lot more to do with sads and things, but for now, just to get the van running, so I can move it around a bit more frequently. Now what I was talking about with the pump is, right, I don't know if you can see that there. Try and get the camera pointing in the right spot. I'll put my finger in the general location there. See the gap between the pump and the block? I'm not overly keen on it being like that, but that's the way it is, as everything else is bolted on correctly, so it's just the way it is. I would have thought they would have made that a little bit more, wouldn't have been taken much, a bit more block just coming out a bit further so the pump seats into it properly 100%, and it doesn't look quite satisfactory to me. If I was the engineer, I would have said no, something's got to be done about that. Anyway, it is what it is. So now I'll put all the water system back together, oil in the engine, and I can move her about a bit more. So I'll stop recording here and finish up with all the hoses, and I'll give her a test run a little bit soon.